Take a look. Do you recognize any of these people? If the answer is no, then you should consider yourself lucky. Why are these 3 people a nightmare to the human race? In this video, we are going to talk about 3 infamous dictators / murderers that humanity will never forget about. So hang tight, watch until the end to get an idea on how atrocious these demons were. Educated in Paris, France in the 1940s, Pol Pot was influenced by French Marxism and Maoist ideology. After returning to Cambodia, he became a key member of the Communist Party of Kampuchea, CPK, later known as the Khmer Rouge. The group waged a guerrilla war against Cambodia's government, gaining strength in the countryside. Immediately, they began implementing radical policies, evacuating cities, abolishing money, closing schools, and purging perceived enemies. The regime targeted intellectuals, professionals, former government officials, ethnic minorities, and even suspected traitors within their ranks. The exact death toll from the Khmer Rouge regime remains disputed, but estimates suggest that between 1.7 and 2 million people died from starvation, forced labor, torture, and execution. This constituted a significant portion of Cambodia's population at the time. Pol Pot died on April 15, 1998, in his sleep, reportedly due to heart failure, before he could be brought to international justice for his crimes against humanity. His regime is remembered as one of the most brutal and devastating in modern history, a tragic example of ideological extremism leading to mass genocide. East Africa, Uganda, 1971, a man whose name became synonymous with brutality and savagery, a hungry for power monster. Idi Amin rose through the ranks of the British colonial army, ultimately seizing power in a military coup in 1971, and by power I mean he became president. As president, this psycho unleashed a reign of terror unparalleled in Ugandan history. His regime was marked by human rights abuses, political repression, and economic mismanagement, murder, kidnapping, to name few. Calling him a psychopathic lunatic is an understatement. You see, Amin was characterized by his erratic behavior, megalomania, and grandiose delusions. He declared himself the conqueror of the British Empire and bestowed upon himself titles such as His Excellency, President for Life, and many more. During Amin's time ruling Uganda from 1971 to 1979, his government did terrible things. Around 300,000 to 500,000 people, mostly from certain ethnic groups, were hurt or killed because of him. Amin's rule was really bad, with lots of unfair arrests, torture, and killings. Many families suffered because of what he did, and Uganda still feels the effects today. After people took power away from him in 1979, Amin left Uganda and went to live in other countries. He first went to Libya and then settled in Saudi Arabia, even though many people wanted him to be brought back to Uganda to face punishment. He stayed in other countries until he died in 2003. Amin spent the rest of his life away from Uganda, but the terrible things he did while in power are still remembered.
The fear was palpable. You never knew who would disappear next.
Equatorial Guinea gained independence from Spain, what gave Francisco the chance to become the country's first leader, promising freedom and prosperity. But this hope quickly turned into a nightmare for the population of Equatorial Guinea. Francisco was characterized by severe human rights abuses, the suppression of opposition, and an intense cult of personality. He adopted titles such as the Unique Miracle and Grand Master of Education, Science, and Culture, demanding absolute loyalty and adulation from the populace, and killed anyone who dared to go against him. I'm going to give you some examples of crazy things this delusional psycho did. For example, he viewed intellectualism and education with suspicion, leading to the closure of schools and the murder of intellectuals and professionals. It's reported that he claimed that there is no need for intellectuals. This led to a significant brain drain and devastated the country's educational and health systems. He also issued several bizarre and repressive laws. He banned the use of lubricants in the national power station, claiming it would cure the machinery, leading to its failure. He also outlawed fishing, severely impacting the food supply, and placed restrictions on the use of Spanish, despite it being the national language. The guy was a nutcase. Equatorial Guinea at the time had very little population, roughly around 300,000. Estimates suggest that up to 80,000 people lost their life in that period. This figure includes those who were executed, those who died in prisons or camps due to torture and neglect. Francisco has grown more paranoid and delusional, and even the elite, including members of the military, were not immune to Francisco's purges, creating a sense of insecurity and prompting thoughts of overthrow to preserve their lives and positions. And with that, it is clearly obvious that he digged his own grave at this point. You can't just execute the people around you and not expect retaliation. He was finally overthrown, and let me tell you, he definitely had a taste of his medicine. Karma is a bitch. Teodoro Nguema, Francisco's nephew and a key military leader, betrayed Francisco and brought him to justice. Francisco was swiftly tried and found guilty of numerous crimes, including genocide, mass murder, and embezzlement. He was executed by firing squad on September 29, 1979, marking a decisive end to his rule and the betrayal that toppled him. If you made it until the end, please like and subscribe. This is my first long-form video. Let me know if you like it or not. Thanks for watching and see you on the next video.